Well, listen to me, conservative America and people having a meltdown on Getter. Let out a collective sigh. Take a deep breath. Because the red wave many of us thought was coming, including me, I sat here and told you there was a red wave coming. It turned into a whimper. And it's honestly incredibly disheartening. It's disappointing. It's heartbreaking. And as Democrats continue to run this country into the ground, and what's really strange is voters agree largely that the country is going in the wrong direction. But Republicans, they didn't capitalize. I mean, what was the message? Huh? What was Leader McCarthy's message for America? Oh, we'll be kind of like 1994? I mean, was that his message? Kevin McCarthy, what is it? Mitch McConnell, I'll only spend money with people that will make me money in China? What was the message? Please clarify so I can understand. If you guys want to sit there and have an issue, let's have a conversation about it. What was the Republican message? Joe Biden sucks? Okay, what after that? The economy's bad? Yeah, got that. But abortion played an outsized role, too. An outsized role. You know how I know? Gen Z or Gen whatever they are showed up in big numbers. Did you know that? I mean, it could be worse today. Not much worse. I'll give you that. Seems the House will be in Republican control, but by about that much. At least Nancy's gone. Could you celebrate that at least? And the rest, well, who knows? We'll get to all of that and the possible reasons why, but I just want to say this. All of you watching today, you need to keep your chins up. Today's a new day. You go ahead and whine and complain and call me names. Doing a fine job on the Getter feed. It's all fine. But after today, you need to get off your ass. Roll up your sleeves and get back to work, because you know damn well the other side isn't going to stop. They're like rust on old metal. They're insidious. They never stop. Rain or shine, they just keep chomping away. But they want you to stop. They want you to fight amongst yourselves. Like I've told you many times in this program, they want to demoralize you and me and all of us. I'm not going to let that happen to me. I hope you're not either. The fact is, we still have a country today. And I still have hope. Maybe a little less than yesterday, but I still have hope because voters of this country did send a man with literal brain damage to the United States Senate. A man who actually started his pivotal debate, good Lord, with this.
What qualifies you to be a U.S. Senator? You have 60 seconds.
Hi, good night, everybody. I'm running to serve Pennsylvania. He's running to use Pennsylvania.
Good night, everybody. Perhaps I should have been good night, America. I mean, let's be honest, we're all floored that anyone would vote for that guy. But here we are. Voters putting an ideology, a political party ahead of what is actually best for America. But that's more complaining and whining, so we don't have time for that right now. Instead, let's get back to the rest of the election with a number of races too close to call, including in Arizona and Georgia. And control of Congress hangs in the balance today. What's strange about this election is that almost everyone was in agreement that the country was on the wrong track. Like I said earlier, take this exit polling from CNN. They were all watching for the red wave to come because everybody was telling them country's on the wrong track. Listen.
Feelings about the way things are going in the U.S. This is a bleak picture from this electorate. Look down here. 39% dissatisfied. 34% are downright angry. That's 73%. 3/4 of the electorate tell us they're dissatisfied or angry. Only 5% enthusiastic, 20% satisfied.
Yeah, that's 73% of voters who are either angry or dissatisfied with the current direction of our country. And take a look at another exit poll done by CNN. Here are the top 5 issues voters cared about. This coming from that far left-leaning network, Chicken Noodle News. Here it is. Listen.
Is that the numbers in these exits do not line up with what we were seeing in the polling data going into this election about what people cared about and the order in which they ranked it. So we have had a lot of questions throughout this time about new voters, people that hadn't been in there before that were perhaps not getting captured by the polling. So maybe this is a sign that we're going to see a little bit more of that tonight than we expected. We obviously don't know yet.
And you know what's missing from this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 top 5 issues? Democracy.
Oh, yeah.
It's not even in here. It's not to say that it's not an issue for people, but it doesn't even come close.
Well, I do think
because democracy is not an issue. P.S. We live in a representative republic. By the way, one of the problems that happened this time that was not seen, I believe, and we'll see how these numbers bear out over the next couple of weeks. It is these Generation Z, these Gen Z kids, 30 and under, whatever they are, somewhere in that range, that turned down big numbers, spoiled kids who have had everything given to them, everything. College, that's more like a resort, iPhones, food, 24 hours a day, a nice roof over their head, probably a free car from mom and dad. You know them. Hell, they're your kids. Many of them. They ran right out there and voted for abortion and against those fascist Republicans because we didn't educate them very well. No, democracy was not a top issue, and that was the Democrats' entire closing argument campaign. Perhaps it was. Maybe some people did vote for democracy. It sure seems that way. They didn't vote for a constitutional republic or common sense. That's what the Democrats are trying to tear down, by the way. Take more direct control over your life and mine. That's clear. And your kids seem to like it. As long as they've got a cell phone to stare at, some pizza rolls in the microwave, or maybe some cable TV, good God, they're fine. But everything about this election on its face just doesn't make sense, does it? It seems like maybe the Republicans miscalculated in a number of ways. Number one, voter enthusiasm. I go back to those polls. Every single poll showed the Republicans winning in all the critical races, picking up 3 to 4 seats in the Senate, 30 seats in the House, maybe more. None of that happened. We all thought Democrat voters would be down and out, but they weren't, were they? No, they were quiet this time. Enthusiasm for Republicans wasn't as high as we thought, and Democrat enthusiasm, especially in Rust Belt states, even higher. That's why Governor Hochul won handily in New York, even though voters there said crime was their number one priority. Even after Hochul downplayed the problem and said she didn't understand why crime was an issue, and even went so far as to say it was fake and not a problem at all. That's even after a New York Bernie Sanders voter had this to say about the election.
Normally, good morning, Pedro. Normally, I lean left. I actually supported Bernie. But this year, I am leaning right. And in terms of our governor's race, I think it's a pretty good indication of what may happen on Tuesday because everyone I know is voting for Lee Zeldin. Democrats are voting for Lee Zeldin. Independents are voting for Lee Zeldin. Republicans, of course, are voting for Lee Zeldin. And that's because we have a crime wave that is happening. No one takes the subways alone anymore. It's extremely dangerous. The homeless and career criminals live literally in the subway. They live in the subway. And it was manufactured because this is what made me switch to the right.
You see, we thought that attitude would spread across the country. I believed it. You believed it. But it did not to the extent we thought it had. Now, having said that, 5 states come to mind that there were red waves. Florida, Texas, Ohio, North Carolina, and Georgia, except for the Senate race. I mean, there was a red wave in certain areas. Were the candidate picks to blame? President Trump outperformed pretty much every one of his handpicked candidates all across this country, both in the 2016 and 2020 elections. Think about that. He totally outperformed the numbers of Pennsylvania. Is Republican leadership to blame? Absolutely. Absolutely. Mitch McConnell, Kevin McCarthy. McConnell blew $35 million in Ohio in a race that was never in question. Ohio was not going to vote for Tim Ryan to be a senator. He's a backbench congressman with the personality of a piece of cardboard. But he pulled his money out of Arizona. Mitch McConnell did. That was a huge mistake, an intentional infliction of damage. And he's also the guy that said that, maybe we don't take back the Senate because of the quality of the candidates. Well, Mitch, are you going to show up in Georgia now and see if you can hold on for a win for the good guys? He could have done a lot more to support candidates in tight races. It seems the money he dumped was poorly spent, like any good politician. And he was outright hostile, like I said, to some of the Republican nominees. Not a good look. Did you hear Chuck Schumer trash talk John Fetterman? Because I didn't. Maybe it was a combination of all those things. You see, the Republicans need to do some serious soul searching right now. For me, I'd toss out Mitch McConnell. Ronna McDaniel, gone. Kevin McCarthy, see ya. But there were some bright spots. The big winner of these midterms, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, really, blowing out his opponent, Charlie Crist, by 19 points. He's overseen Florida's gigantic shift to the right. CNN helpfully and almost gleefully put that shift into perspective just last night. Here it is.
Can we just talk about Florida, because we really haven't had a chance to do that. I was texting with a source in Florida, political source, who pointed out to me that this will be the first time since Reconstruction that Florida won't have any Democrats in statewide office. Period. So, and DeSantis's victory, Miami-Dade.
Yeah, DeSantis captured a majority of the Latino vote as well, shifting the Hispanic community even further to the right, at least in Florida, which means Florida is now a solidly red state. Florida is no longer a swing state. Neither is Ohio. They were battleground states once. They're not anymore. Republicans have captured them fully, along with Texas. And that means conservatives have a crystal clear view about where the fight is going to be held in 2024 and beyond. That's still in the Rust Belt states. I have not given up on Michigan or Pennsylvania or Wisconsin. Wisconsin, by the way, Ron Johnson, he's been called to win the Senate race there just a short time ago since we've been on the air, so that's seat 49 for the Republicans, leaving 3 states outstanding, Arizona, Nevada, and Georgia. And those 2 states in the Southwest, Arizona, Nevada, very critical. We need to make the case to voters that voting for Democrats is terrible for your best interests. We're making progress, but clearly we're not there yet. This election showed that. Now, having said that, I do believe Nevada's in good shape. For Laxalt as senator, Lombardo is governor. We'll still see. I think Kerry Lake still wins in Arizona as governor. I'm not sure about Blake Masters. We'll find out. Which brings us back to Georgia. Don't give up on any of those places. Don't give up on any of those places. Because with a small miracle, little miracle, maybe that red wave could just jump up a little bit and give the Republicans 51 senators to block the socialist craziness that we would see potentially if we don't get that little miracle. So like I said, get your whining out of the way today. 24 hours. Go ahead and mope. You lost a big game. Blame it on the refs. I don't care. But tomorrow, roll up your sleeves. Go to work. This country isn't lost unless you give up and point your finger and blame others. What did you do to help out? Did you knock on doors? Did you volunteer for a campaign? How much money did you give? Or did you just sit on your couch and go vote and then bellyache about everything else? It's time for you to get involved. Don't let them win. Say it with me. I am not a socialist. I am an American. God bless America.